Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'll be doing an update or part 6 to the story of our favorite roughneck, which is titled, After 45 Years of Marriage, My Wife Used WhatsApp to Have an Affair, Now I'm Contemplating My Revenge. And guys, at this point, I'm not going to do a big recap on the whole thing. You all know what's going on here if you're watching at this point. But I want to mention that in the last video, our guy definitely was in a situation. As you all recall, Trevor, the guy was nailing his soon-to-be ex, went missing. But even worse, that things were discovered in his garage, blood, that's what it was, and everybody's freaking out because he's missing, and take a wild guess who no doubt is going to be the number one suspect. Yep, our guy here. And he came back from being out in the mountains with his family, daughter and grandkids and all that, to all these cards from the detectives and all that wanting to talk to him, and I strongly urged him, and as all you did, do not talk to the police, detectives, whoever, until you have a lawyer present. No ifs, ands, or buts. And all you guys are great chiming in saying, no, 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 no. Don't talk to them. I got lawyers in there. I got cops even there telling him to do the same thing. So here we are with the update here. And it's definitely interesting as what's been going on with him as well with his wife. And she's singing the same tune about him as so many others do when they decide they up and want to end the marriage. But before I get into his update here, real quick, I got a quick email from a new subscriber. This guy just found the channel, I guess, a few weeks ago. Absolutely loves it. He's new to the community. And he wanted to, say a few things. And, I want to welcome him here. Real quick, he says here, Hey, SSM. I just discovered your page a few weeks ago, and I'm now subscribed to all 3 of your channels, and I've probably watched close to 100 of them. Damn, dude, that's some dedication. Well, thank you for joining. I love your angle on things. Also, being a child of the 80s, I'm loving all the pop culture references. The Tuscan Raider comparisons to when they're crying while trying to justify their bad behavior is classic. Well, thank you. I'm already giving my sons the dating warnings before they get serious with anyone, hoping to spare them the pain and torment that I went through in this area. Anyway, thanks for being out there. We all appreciate you. You're a good dad if you're showing your sons this type of material and warning them as to what can happen. You don't want your sons to go through what you went through in your divorce. Another thought I wanted to share. I'm passing this phase of my life, and I'm finally with a good woman. My energy is focused on helping my sons to navigate the minefield of modern dating. I'm finding myself relating to a specific scene of a movie in the very first Spider-Man movie when Norman Osborn is meeting Mary Jane, when he openly studied her with mistrust, then said that they're all sweet until they're snarling around your trust fund like a pack of raving wolves. I remember that. It took me a moment to think back, but yeah, I remember that line. Dead on. As cynical as it undoubtedly sounds, I never thought that I'd be able to relate to that character in that moment like I do now. That I went from being an incurable romantic in my youth to honestly preparing to have the conversation with each of my sons that they have too much to lose in marriage, that the deck is stacked against them the moment they put that ring on. It is so unfortunate that that's the reality, that you have to literally warn your sons, don't get married, because it's not in man's interest that the courts are stacked against them. It's the freaking truth. Or at least they have to be so prepared on so many fronts. But you're doing a disservice by sugarcoating things or not warning them. So you're doing a good job as a dad. It breaks my heart that I'm going to be openly discussing my sons from entering into marriage, or discouraging my sons entering into marriage, not without an insane amount of meticulous preparation and time. As you well know, we live in a society that now rewards women for walking away from and destroying their marriages, and that more often than not, the man is left holding the bag. Anyway, if you read this far, thank you for doing so. Hope you're well, and looking forward to seeing you more. Well, brother, I got 4,000 plus videos between all 3 channels, so you got plenty of stuff to watch, and I do easily 2, sometimes 3 videos a day between all 3 channels, so plenty of good content out there. But anyhow, thanks for writing in, and hey man, if you want to share your story about what you went through in the divorce and how you moved on and are now stronger and having a good life with a new girl and all that, send it in. I guarantee the guys, you want to hear a story? Let them know, and welcome into the community. Okay, our update, and this is good. He says, Hey SSM. So I was able to meet with an attorney on Friday, and he set up a meeting with the cops for Tuesday. Thank God. Thank God you listened to us. That gave me a chance to not only think and reflect, but to gather intel and see what I'm up against. I called my daughter that has taken custody of her mom. She is so disgusted and pissed off at her mom that she's ready to shit can her. Well, there you go. And gee, I wonder why. So Trevor, again, Trevor is the guy that was banging his soon-to-be ex. Trevor's brother and other siblings and my lovely bride are in constant communication. Yeah, that's good news right there. I'll bet you can't guess who the villain in every single one of their stories is. I don't know. Fucking the Joker? No, you. I don't know if she's feeding them full of crap or the other way around, maybe a little bit of both. But something is going on. Trevor's brother was supposedly told by the cops that I had immediately lawyered up and was stonewalling law enforcement. Refusing access to my phone and other electronic devices, the detectives investigating Trevor's case wanted to get a warrant and take me into custody, but the local cops told them that they would set up a meeting. What do you mean stonewalling them? Are you kidding me? You were away in the mountains, and you came back later and found a pile of cards they wanted to reach out to you, and you immediately reached out to them, but you got a lawyer first. See, here we go. This is my point and all you guys' points about the cops. No offense to the police officers watching this, but you got to understand, we got to protect our asses. He says, dude, I called the detective as soon as I got home and told him that I would talk to them. My attorney set up the soonest timing given to him by the cops following the holiday weekend, and somehow I'm the one stonewalling. Now, is it possible that that's not what the cops are saying? It's what your ex and Trevor's family are saying? Who knows? But yeah, you were right on it like that. I have to wonder if the local detective purposely scheduled the meeting for after Memorial Day just to piss off that detective. Screw them. I couldn't refuse access when I didn't know. Yeah, you didn't know. You're up in the mountains trying to have some peace and quiet, and you come home to this fucking hornet's nest. And from what my daughter has picked up from her one side of the phone calls between her mom and the cops and Trevor's brother and family. My daughter said that after listening to how her mother was talking about me and describing me, that if she, my daughter, didn't know me and know what a good, honorable man that I am, she'd be convinced that I was Satan himself in blue jeans. See? 45 years they're together. And now they part ways, and he's ending it with her because she was cheating. And now she's making him out to be the devil incarnate. How often is this the thing? She jumped on her mom about the lies that she was telling, but thinks it's her mom's way of deflecting attention away from her and convincing everyone that I'm way worse than she is. No doubt. And there you go, women and accountability. He said, "Yeah, I may be and he's describing her, saying, "Yeah, I may be a cheating, lying SLUT, but look at what he did to Trevor." Yeah, hell, knowing her, she probably actually believes it. That's the thing. He didn't do anything to Trevor. You weren't even around when Trevor went missing. A couple of tidbits of info that my daughter was able to get. Number one, when the detectives were at my daughter's house interviewing my bride for a follow-up, they asked her about 3 other women's names and if she knew about them, how, etc. She got the impression that Trevor had more than one hoe. When the bride found out that she wasn't special, she really spiraled. Trevor has multiple girlfriends, and your bride, your soon-to-be ex, thought she was special. Now, here's a question. Now, remember, this guy's wife here, soon-to-be ex-wife, Trevor's 64. So I'm guessing she's probably pretty close to that age. And the dude, Trevor, according to what he found out, was 39. So he has a thing, he has mommy issues. Or in this case, grandmommy issues. I wonder if the other women that he's cheating with are all old ladies too. Also, number 2, they're looking to confront me and get me all wound up about past bad actions that I have committed. They also express great interest in one of my other hobbies, long-range target shooting. It says if you look up Milk Jug Challenge, you will see people hitting milk jugs filled with colored water from 1,000, 1,200, 1,500, and 2,000 yards with center fire rifles. Wow, that's cool, man. Number 3, they intend to get my cell phone data and geo-tracking and digital footprint. 4, they are under the impression that Trevor and my confrontation at the house was way worse than it really was, even though that spineless little puke came to my house to beg me not to tell his wife or the government agency that he works for. up to and including throwing a special needs child in my face that it's me that effed up. Number 5, I own a significant number of firearms and reload my own precise ammunition. So if being the cheated on, lied to, betrayed guy with anger issues, large number of firearms with concerning amount of ammo, ability to hit milk jugs 3/4 of a mile away in a crosswind, willing to inflict severe harm when threatened and or confronted at his own property, makes me the bad guy, then fine, blame me. If they're wasting their time investigating me, then whoever did whatever to Trevor is getting away. Right, obviously it wasn't you, you were long gone. Here's an idea. If Trevor is hooking up with multiple women, obviously he has multiple enemies out there that are husbands or boyfriends, or maybe children, depending how old the woman is, of the moms, the families he's wrecked. And I'm sure Trevor has a whole history of this. So is it possible that there are other angry dudes that have a beef with him? Or women? Maybe, think about it. How do you know it could be a guy? Maybe it's one of the women that thought that she was his only one and found out that he had other girls, and she went nuts and got to question these things. But what, they're pointing the finger at you? Meeting with the cops. It went well. Seems like the local cops are way less convinced that I had anything to do with that than the others. Might just be good cop, bad cop situation. Well, that would be nice, but it isn't over to the fat lady sings. So, don't get too comfortable. At least pay attention to what your lawyer says. I can't say more beyond that. I got a shitload of messages and voicemails from the bride that I've been listening to and reading. I had her blocked from day one, so they weren't coming in. When I tried to retrieve the old messages for the attorneys, I had to unblock her, and holy crap, it was blowing all the way up. It was like when I got out of the canyon after camping, and we all know how great that was. Voicemails and messages that start out saying, "I'm sorry, we can work it out," and devolved into threats, pleading, begging, and back to threatening. I could tell by the content of the messages as to when the timeline had come in. 45 messages dealt with sorry shit. The next 114 messages range from "what did you say to Trevor" to "please don't hurt him, he has a family" to "what the F did you do to him?" That's a lot of messages, man. I could probably figure out within 15 minutes of when she found out Trevor was boning other hoes other than her. Her messages went from "give Trevor back to me" to "all I want is our family back." See? The remaining 276 messages. So, let me do the fucking math here. First 45 messages, then 114 messages, and after all that, then the remaining 276 messages. Yeah, she's stable. The remaining 276 messages were a combination of all the above. I had to go buy a jump drive to save all that shit on. And you know what hurts the worst? What nearly off me to save and give to somebody else? The collection of stories and essays we had written to each other. The fact that the attorney needed both the original and the defiled version. You remember the very first video, he talked about how back when they were very young, wrote stories to each other and things like that. Even the vile pictures and videos they had shared were hard. I flipped through it and I see the woman I loved and lived for nearly half a century. The same pictures that if she had sent them to me, I'd have found them very sexy and seductive now. But now it looks like a baseball catcher's mitt with an axe gash in the middle and 3 knee socks with grapefruits hanging at the end. Jesus. Funny how perspective changes everything. Thank you for the support and the comments. So there you go. Well, man, you definitely have an interesting life, but you're going to get through it. I'm so glad you listened to all of us. I mean, maybe you would have done it anyway, but I'm glad regardless you listened and you lawyered up and you're handling that. But again, keep yourself out of trouble. Lay low. Don't do anything to give them any ammo against you. I'm glad that your kids are obviously on your side, and I'm glad that your daughter, who is taking in your soon-to-be ex, she's hearing her go off about various things, and she's obviously not believing any of it, thank God. And how crazy, not that it's, okay, it's crazy, but isn't crazy to me, how your wife was all saying what she was saying, but now she's begging to give the marriage a second chance after good old Trevor has gone missing, and finding out, more importantly, that she wasn't the only one. Of course, she wasn't the only one. Funny how that changes. But anyhow, man, just keep us posted on things. You know, a weekly video is good just to know what's going on. And we're going to get you through this. And then eventually you're going to be finally past this. I mean, it's been a week now and he hasn't shown up yet. I mean, holy crap. But I'm convinced if he's been hooking up with other women, I'm sure they're either married or some other guy's girlfriend. He has a lot of enemies out there, so they ought to be talking to all of them if they're not doing that now, instead of just pointing the finger at you. But you're the easy target, you know, and especially since you're angry and have a weapons hobby and all that type of thing. So, but obviously, when he went missing, you were up in the mountains. You had an alibi because you were with family. But anyhow, just lay low, play cool, listen to your lawyer. Don't talk to the cops in any way, shape, or form unless your lawyer's there, and this will blow past. And then get through the divorce and all that. But, man, it's been interesting. I think after all this is done, I think some very good, positive karma should come your way. So that's why I think you should buy at least a lottery ticket every week, because maybe you'll win. You know, you deserve something good coming your way one of these days. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Give this guy some support. And be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. Catch you next time.